Hello, everyone. Uh, my name is Kosol with the IKARE and the National Khmer Legacy Museum, and today we have Surviving Bokator. Surviving Bokator is a film, it's a grassroots film that was 8 years in the making and chronicles the struggles in the making of the film with Cambodian martial artist Master Sien Kum San to save from extinction the traditional Khmer art, martial art of Bokeh by preserving it in the nation's youth. The film had its international premiere at the prestigious Austin Film Festival in the fall of 2018 and has since gone on to play at festivals throughout the USA, Canada, Europe, and Asia, winning multiple awards and impacting audiences. It is a uniquely fresh, positive, and hopeful story about Cambodia with themes on cultural value, healing in a post-war society, and the determination of the human spirit to persevere through adversity. I have with me here the filmmaker Mark Bochsler. Mark, please correct me if I have um, abused your last name there in pronunciation, in Toronto, Canada, and the subject of the film, Master Sien Kum San in Phnom Penh. Congratulations to you both, and thank you for being with us tonight. Master San Kum Sien, Grandmaster San Kum Sien is considered by many as the father of modern Bokeh for his work in reviving the traditional Khmer martial art in Cambodia during the Cambodian cultural genocide of the mid-1970s. He evaded persecution and death from the Khmer Rouge by keeping his knowledge of martial arts a secret. He fled Cambodia to teach martial arts in America, then decades later returned upon learning that Bokeh was unknown to young Cambodians and was quickly vanishing. Seeking out other surviving Bokeh practitioners, he founded the Cambodia Bokeh Federation and the Cambodia Bokeh Academy, and now resides in Siem Reap, Cambodia. His journey to revive the endangered martial art has been chronicled in the award-winning documentary film Surviving Bokeh in 2018. Today, in his 70s, Master Sien's journey to survive Bokeh continues by tirelessly advocating Bokeh through government, education, sport, entertainment, as well as gaining UNESCO recognition of this Khmer tradition. And Mark Bochsler is a Canadian cinematographer and cameraman turned documentary filmmaker. His career spans over 25 years and has brought him around the world to places like Cambodia, where he made his most recent film, Surviving Bokeh. His work on other projects has been screened internationally at major festivals, including Cannes and Television Art, Animal Planet, Discovery, CBC, and was nominated for the Canadian Screen Award in 2013. Mark is fueled by a passion to explore diverse stories about the human journey, which can bring much needed empathy to today's fractured world. And myself, my name is Kosol Sek. I am the current managing director of the National Khmer Legacy Museum in the United States and also the managing director of the IKARE. Our mission is to protect, preserve, and promote the best of Khmer people, stories and history and art. And we definitely have one of the best tonight with us. So welcome, both gentlemen. Welcome, Master Kum Sien. Hi, and welcome, Mark.
Welcome, Kosol. Thank you for doing this tonight.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Lukru?
Good to see you, Grandmaster. You look wonderful.
Thank you.
I wish I could look as good.
Yes, Master Mark. The Master had told me that he's over 70 years of age, and I looked at him this morning for the first time, and he is not. He doesn't look a day over 60.
Not at all. No, you look very healthy. Bopa is taking very good care of you.
All right, all right. Because I have my good wife.
Yes. You know, let's. I'd like to welcome our audience to our show tonight. I'd like us to maybe have both of you sort of kind of teach me, explain to me, as well as our audience, how did you two come to know each other? Master Lukru, when you met Mark from day one, Mark and Mark, you had a co-producer, right, Sandra?
Sandra is my partner, my wife.
Yep.
My partner in crime. Yeah.
Yes, the partner in crime. And then Lukru, when you first met Mark and Sandra, what was your first impression of them?
And this goes back to April of 2010.
Yeah. But was this 2010? Okay.
2010 April.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm. You know what is my dream is I want to build Bokeh
Mhm.
not only for Cambodia. It's been for the world and to our people in outside the country
Mhm.
and also everybody in the world to know, to understand about our culture. Bokeh is belong our king, our great
Mhm.
grandfather, master of the Bokeh thousand years, and get lost a long time, and we just survive Bokeh again the second time in Cambodia
Mhm.
on 24th April 2004. So that time until 2010, I met Mark and Sandra, and we talking about the Bokeh, and he very interested, and so that's what I so happy because in my dream. So
Oh.
that
Mhm.
that the day, and we have good discussion, and we talking about the Bogota history something, and I saw Mark and Sandra very interested and about our culture Bogota that time, and we beginning to talk, and planning planning a lot because he the filmmaker, and I also movie star before in our country when I was young, and I saw also I like in job for the movie. So that what we talk together very happy, and we enjoy together, and that the beginning from that day until now.
Yes.
Almost 20 years.
Lukru, when you first met them, what was your first impression of them as a non-Khmer?
Oh, that's what I'm telling you. But I told you, I like to let Bogota fly to the wall. How can I do that?
Okay.
One thing, no money. One another thing, I cannot do it because too much.
On your own, you mean?
Yeah, and also it's the good time. Mark and Sandra come to talk about the movie. We want to make the like a surviving Bogota, and that's what he told me. I'm so happy. I don't know what to say because it's my dream. I want my dream come true on the film to show the people around the world. That's what we like to take hand together and work together, and so the future.
Yes. And Mark, what was your impression when you first met the master?
Everything.
I
We're so happy together.
Yeah, we Sandra and I had heard about the grandmaster. We were looking for a project. We were in Cambodia, and the story of the idea that a martial art was a few things that really caught my interest. And one was that there was the possibility there was a martial art out there that nobody had heard of. And when I started thinking a bit more about martial arts in Cambodia, and I thought, there's no, to my knowledge at that time, I'm not a martial artist, but
Yes.
I can't think of a Cambodian martial art. Now, when we got to meet the grandmaster, it was in this this massive space above a parking garage in Orosai Market in downtown Phnom Penh. And I thought the ceiling tiles were going to fall down, and but it was full of activity. There was life there. There were his students. He must have at that time, I think it was an afternoon, if I can recall correctly. And there must have been about 20, 30 students. And the longer we spoke, we sat and we spoke for about 4 hours. And I started filming right away. I realized that this place was a real home. There was a family, it was a sense of family that I felt from the grandmaster. And of course, I met his wife, Bopa, and I met some of the students at that time. I met Darit, who was his head trainer. I met Tarawat, who was known as Kalanton, the little frog. And little by little, just meeting people who would come by grandmaster's desk. And yeah, it felt very comfortable for me. And I felt like I needed to be there a bit longer. So that I started just showing up, Sandra and I, every day. Sandra was with the sound equipment and I was with the camera. And eventually, I think Grandmaster didn't mind us having us around. I'm not sure. I've never really asked you that, if having a camera in your face for all that time. It ended up being 5 years that we filmed, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, that's so you fell in love with Bokator, and why not Apsara dancing? Why not Lakan Kaul? Why, you know, what was the specific pull into Bokator, Mark?
Okay, I thought you were asking Grandmaster.
Yeah.
I can't see you as an Apsara dancer. Too slow for you, you know. Just why Bokator? Well, it's not like I had a choice of, okay, which culture would you like to make a film on, or which cultural element would you like to make a film on? It was, I think, what really drew me, aside from what I just spoke about, to the project was I'd never considered sport as culture before. And then when I learned about the genocide, I already knew about the genocide, but when I had heard more specifically that they had targeted culture, you know, taking away people's sense of identity, of who they are, and that identity is culture. And it blows my mind, honestly, you know, how that, first of all, could have been conceived, and then how it was carried out to 2.5 million people over a 4-year period. And for me, it was just connecting the dots and really, yeah, it was a study of culture. I'm interested in cultures. I'm interested in why people do things, different parts of the world. Could be anything from clothing to languages to customs. So this seemed like a very good fit for me.
Yes. Hey, Lacruz, ខ្ញុំស្ដាប់មើលទៅ I think it's almost like winning the lottery to have met someone like Mark and Sandra, someone that is not Khmer, to have such an interest, such a love for something that we've sort of lost, and Grandmaster sort of rediscovered that treasure of the Khmer people, you know. So this treasure, and you know. And it sort of flows with how many of the fortunes that have been sort of rediscovered out of the Khmer culture as well. We have undiscovered cities, undiscovered artifacts and arts, and Bokator. So that's such a, for me, it's very touching. Lokru, Kim some play some no ni to Lokru and be Mark. Lokru Kim. Do you ever feel like we shouldn't like there's something we should be hiding from someone that's not Khmer about Bokatao? Is it like maybe it's not. Should we keep something away from someone that's not Khmer from learning about Bokatao, or have you always felt like this is something that we should be sharing everything to non-Khmer people as well as Khmer?
That's very important. Mm-hmm. That's very important because see, what I think, we are Khmer. We are the original of our culture. Yeah. It was long time, but we still Khmer. And also, I believe all the document, all the history, and all people that they still survive from the generation to generation, and usually important for the after Khmer roots. I mean, communist purpose, and we can survive. So that I believe we can find out for the Khmer people, but we difficult to go outside of the country, and we cannot, make a Cambodian people and get this martial art by ourselves to bring out from our country. It's very difficult. That's what my dream. I want the world to understand Bogota. That is the good time for me. Is I met Mark, etc. We talking about the build up our culture to living and to go to around the world with the film. We cannot go by our own. Many people got to go to the show to teach or to whatever because too much money how to spend for the trip and how to survive in around the world. Too much money we cannot go. So back spend money. I don't know how much money, but they spend long to make the team to make the film, and the budget I don't know, but I hope it's very difficult for back to get the fund budget for this film. So after the film done and he go around the world for festival or for show, that is mean the main dream, the main thing for me. What for us, for me, and for the Cambodia. That's very interesting. And I say that again. Thank you very much, Mark, and your family and your team. Do the job. Good job for Bogota. Yeah, good job for Bogota. Yes. Bogota is not belong to me.
Yes.
Bogota is belong to us. Belong to our great grandfather, great king, and thousand year. I don't know exactly how many years, but I think more thousand, because when we saw Angkor Wat, it already has a structure in that. It's a long time before Angkor Wat. So the people have to
បាទលោកគ្រូខ្ញុំសុំកាត់លោកគ្រូពេល was there when you were ពេលយើងកំពុងថតកុនជាមួយគាត់ហ្នឹងណា when you were filming in that process was there any struggle in communicating to Mark or the other helpers in language, or was there in cultural differences តើមានឧបសគ្គអីខ្លះដែរដែលពេលថតកុននឹងជាមួយគាត់ហ្នឹងលោកគ្រូ
not the big problem. The problem is where we got to find the place where we can contact with the people in the province or the let's say something like that. And about the language, I'm not too good English either, but we can understand together. And sometimes I speak Khmer. That's the best way I can talk Khmer. And even sometimes I speak English, and Mark he give me advice a lot.
Yes.
So
Yes.
my English is not too correct.
You know, Mark,
There's a lot of editing.
The grandmaster is very humble about this whole situation because for someone at his age to be able to be such eloquent and proficient in English, it's just amazing. You know, and grandmaster, he's over 70 and ចឹងលោកគ្រូខ្ញុំសូមខ្ញុំកោតសរសើរហើយលោកគ្រូភាសាអង់គ្លេសរបស់លោកគ្រូក្មេងៗនៅសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកជាងការទៅរៀននៅសប្តាហ៍ហ្នឹងក្មេងៗអាយុ30ចុះក្រោមជាការភាសាគាត់sometimes their English, Mark, even our younger Khmer Americans who are under 30 years of age are not as proficient in this with their English as grandmaster. So just to compliment him on that.
Thank you.
Well, I had to make a decision early on which language to start filming in, and I think initially I was describing that first day in April of 2010 when we started to shoot. I initially I think it just started right away because we didn't have a translator, and I felt Grandmaster's English, I was able to understand how he expressed himself. I thought he expressed himself well.
Yes.
And he had, how can I say, so we just started filming in English, and then the rest of the film just continued that way. Same with the other students. In fact, we didn't really have a translator at the time as we were starting our initial, early days of filming, because we weren't fully sure, how big the project was going to be. So it was kind of more of a research for us at that time. So and so most of the film has ended up in English. It speaks Khmer.
Yes.
Of course.
What was Mark? Mark, what was the toughest, the most difficult aspect in the filming process? Would you say the most difficult aspect?
Well, there's quite a few things. I mean, overall, Cambodia is an amazing country. If anyone's ever been there before, they can certainly echo what I'm saying. It is stunningly gorgeous, and the people are incredibly sincere and friendly and warm, and it's you always feel like you belong there. It's become for Sandra and I a second home in a lot of ways, even though I haven't been back in a few years. But I think I'm sorry, Kosol, what was your question?
What was the most challenging aspect during the filming process? Yes.
So in the beginning, I was on crutches, and that was a challenge for me because I had, I guess, a day before meeting Grandmaster, I had an incident, and I had slashed my Achilles tendon, and so I ended up for 6 weeks on crutches. And you'll see if you go to our website, our photo gallery, there's shots of me with crutches. So that was a real challenge, just getting around, hobbling up and down the stairs every day, getting into the tuk-tuk, and eventually I was just rented a motorcycle. So I was driving all around town on a motorcycle with crutches, with a crutch. So I felt like real Khmer.
Yes.
And of course, climbing all over the ruins of Angkor Wat with the crutches and whatnot. But I was really into my zone. But the difficult part, really, honestly, Kosol, came when it came to editing, because we had filmed about 450 hours worth of material.
Wow.
And across 5 years, as I'd mentioned. And that's a lot of footage. And we had also, when you're making documentaries, you never know how the story is going to end. In fact, you never know even if the people that you had started working with will still be around. Maybe they don't want to be filmed anymore. Maybe something changes. It's hard to say. So in the film, you see, we ended up with 3 primary subjects, characters, however you want to call them.
Yes.
Plus, there were a few on the outside of that, two surviving masters and 3 other students. But initially we had 12 people.
Wow.
We had 12 people. We had there was a lot of people, and there was a lot of possible directions the film could have gone in. But it took us quite some time, about 3 years, to get through all of that material.
Wow.
To really
Yeah,
put the film together. So
that's definitely a journey. លោកគ្រូខ្ញុំចង់ដឹងពីលោកគ្រូហើយបើសិនជាកន្លែងខ្លះមិនចង់ឲ្យ Mark ដឹងយើងនិយាយជាភាសាខ្មែរមក ធ្វើការជាមួយ Mark what were some of the challenges when working with Mark and the crew that from your perspective ពីទស្សនៈលោកគ្រូតើកន្លែងណាជាឧបសគ្គខ្លះដែលពេលធ្វើការជាមួយគាត់ហ្នឹង
Nothing. I hope only sometimes I misunderstand something about the words, or sometimes we talking difficult discussing about the equipment or the place or the history. So that's it. And we don't fight each other. We just talk each other and to find a way how to build, how to make the film good. Because the film, if we don't, I mean, what we want to get the film is we want to get the good quality. We want to get the good story and the true story. And the true story of my life, during that when I was young until today. So what happened to my life, how to build up the Bokator, how to survive Bokator. So that only the way we discussing about that. It's not the big problem. We discussing and we make we find a way how to show the people in the world to easy understand and how deep of my life how difficult is for how difficult in my life to survive Bokator today, and because get lost thousand years no name in Cambodia. Also young generation he doesn't understand about the word of Bokator. Even all people my generation a lot of passed away, and also the people they still understand the Bokator something good. They are in the farmer, so it back to the knowledge. But
លោកគ្រូលោកគ្រូមុនលោកគ្រូបានជួប Mark before you met Mark and Sandra before the idea of producing the film came what would you say was some of your challenges in trying to preserve the Bokator martial art មុនយើងជួបគាត់ណាលោកគ្រូតើលោកគ្រូគិតថាមានឧបសគ្គអីខ្លះនៅលើការដំកល់ប្រវត្តិសាស្ត្រខ្មែរយើងក្បាច់គុនរបស់ខ្មែរហ្នឹង
I speak English.
Well, you can speak Cambodian. It's up to you.
Let the people to understand about question.
Kosol can translate it.
You're doing very well លោកគ្រូនិយាយអង់គ្លេសដូចខ្ញុំបានជម្រាបលោកគ្រូមុនអញ្ចឹងអង់គ្លេសច្បាស់ជាងបងប្អូនយើងច្រើនផងបាទ
សិតជាកន្លែងណាដែលថាវាមិន correct ណាបាទខ្ញុំយល់មិនច្បាស់ជួយបញ្យល់ជាខ្មែរយល់ផងប៉ុន្តែអ្វីដែលខ្ញុំឆ្លើយបានខ្ញុំកុំឲ្យខាតពេលបាទលោកគ្រូឆ្លើយបាទ when I'm beginning to that we have time to let the people understand about that about how difficult and how so sad about Bokator, our culture from my heart. So see my dream is long when I was young. So I love it. My life is in the martial art and art, music, like movie star, like something, and about martial art. All the world martial art I learned too. And the man of our culture is Bokator. That's what I trained Bokator from my uncle, not the blood uncle, it's my uncle Adam. He stayed with me when I was young. And so that my heart is in Bokator. And so I don't know what to do when I was young, but my dream. And when I went to United States, 1980, in Houston, Texas, after I moved to California, Long Beach in 1985. And that time we do some job, something. But one thing what I happy to meet is my old friend. Is producer is meet good Khmer. When we was young to train together, and he is pastor of producer, and he live in Long Beach, and we meet each other. So that I'm so happy because I also producer with in that time too. And one day he told me he's a very upset because he brought to the student with Khmer, Spanish, American, Black American, went to a competition of Muay Thai in California. And when that time you go to, he took the student to competition, they allow go in because Brad he said, producer is good Khmer. He said, not good Khmer competition, Muay Thai. So that's what he had to change the name from Cambodia culture to Muay Thai. And he asked him going there. And after his student win some also, and back to Long Beach, and we discussing about that. And I just told him, and we cried. He cried because the name.
Look, so when you hear a foreigner, a non-Khmer, refer Bokator to Muay Thai, they confuse Muay Thai with Bokator. How do you feel as someone that spent your whole life to preserve and to promote Bokator? What goes through? Can you describe to me what how you feel when you hear and you see it, the crew?
You know, the people, they don't understand, and our old people, they never know is Bokator, where from the Bokator, what is the Bokator. Our blood, our people, even old people, even the government, whatever, they don't know. So that just hurt and very, very bad for us. No name. Thousand is get lost. But Muay Thai, very success in the world. Everybody, even their old people, even the people like martial art, like fighting sport, everybody know Muay Thai. It's very good name for Muay Thai. They very good promote their own traditional, I mean their own sport. How about us? So when you talk, when you do something like this, like that, and they say Muay Thai, but I teach Bokator. Why you say Muay Thai? And they say similar to Muay Thai. Because look like that. But you know, Bokator have 1,000, 10,000 techniques or more than that. It's not like a 50 technique or 100 technique. But they do good job. Training, strong fight, you know, very, very good. And that's what attract the people around the world. I don't, it is free, you know, what they saw, what they want. How they see Bokator, even like I told you, even our old people, the government, Ministry of Sport, they don't know about Bokeh. How can we we want to do like them too, but how to explain our own people?
But does our government do they not know, or are they not interested? Okay.
No, they don't know first. They don't know. First is don't know anything about the world. They only know some people, maybe 10% of our people, but 10% is not in the city. 10% is in the mountain or in a village outside the country. I mean, outside the city. So that what they can do, nothing. And so that's what we concern. For me, I talk with my friend. His name Umbri. He the master of kickboxing, our people, our culture. So that's what we concern. You know what the big thing for me in my life? I'm very disappointed of our culture. You know, Mahadoko, Angkor Wat is my empire. We use that Bokator. So why the country build up the country in that time of Angkor Wat? And very, very success, very popular in the world right now. And how about inside of the wall, inside of Angkor Wat? We have Apsara, we have a lot, blah, 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 a lot to say. How about the wall, they saw the people, how to fight with the enemy, how to build up the country. They use Bokator.
Since you Akun, thank you for sharing with us the challenges before you met Mark. But I want to kind of step back a little bit before we move on to the bigger picture here. Is I hear the struggle before. Can you explain now, since the movie, since the film came out, since the first debut, the 300 attendees at the international festival in Cambodia till now, what is the biggest struggle right now? Before we had we didn't have anyone to pay attention to the film, to Bokeh, and now we have hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people who have awareness about Bokeh. So now today, and maybe Mark, you can help me fill in also from your perspective. So what's our biggest challenge right now from your perspective, Lukru?
In creating awareness, do you mean, Kosol, for
no, just over what's the biggest challenge since releasing the film? Are you still facing any challenges right now in trying to revive the Bokeh art as a whole?
Well, I think Grandmaster could speak more specifically to that. I mean, one thing that I've come to realize, Kosol, is the when we did our tour last year through the USA and a little bit in Canada, we did our film festivals last year, end of 2018 into 2019, and we were quite surprised at how many Cambodians who were born in the States, living or who had survived the genocide, who come over, were very unfamiliar with Bokeh. Their parents, I should correct myself, parents, survivors were familiar with it, but it was something that was so distant from them. Whereas the younger generation were not really in tune with their culture, and you know, that could be anything from Bokeh or it could be Apsara dancing or whatever. So the response that we've had from the film, because it features culture, and it features something which is specifically Cambodian, but it has more of a universal interest as well, a martial art, or just, you know, the fact that this story about culture, reviving lost culture, post-war society. The thing is that, you know, helping people identify their culture, who they are, and spreading information about Bokeh, which wasn't really my goal per se. I didn't really, set out to sort of make a promotional film about Bokeh. It wasn't my intention at all. I was very much taken by the story and, of course, the people who were behind this great movement.
Yes.
And for me, that was the source of my interest. But just coming to America, Canada, and this past fall, we were also in Germany. Just finding out how many people are being impacted by the film, but the struggle, I think, still is creating more awareness, but also getting people to invest in their own culture. And I think that's the biggest struggle from what I can see, and I think that struggle continues. Correct me if I'm wrong, Grandmaster. When we first met, we started working together. It was a very big challenge for you to get any funding. You couldn't get it from the government. You had moral support, you had encouragement, of course. You had, but in terms of big dollars, there was nothing there. The club, as we saw in the film, that was really up to what you could raise through your students or whoever you could borrow money from. And of course, you lost the club, and you've lost several clubs since then. But it's just you always get back on your feet again, and you just keep. You were so determined just to complete your mission. So that's an ongoing thing, is really to get people to invest in their own culture, from what I see.
Okay.
If I could just jump in there, Kosol, quickly.
Yes.
We have a lot of people, some of the audiences have some questions.
Sure.
I don't know if you've been watching the ticker tape
Okay.
there, but
okay.
it might be a good jumping off
Should we,
point.
are you able to, Mark, can you read some of the questions since you're already in front of it? Maybe is there a question that you feel like we should answer?
Well, there's one. If who is that cute guy, Kosol? Can I get a date with him? I don't know if I should read that or not.
Well, Kosol is happily married.
Sorry to throw you off the game. Let's see. There's quite a few things here. Let's just jump into this one here. It's about our tour. We did a tour, as I mentioned, last year. And yes, we will be coming back. We were supposed to come back this spring to Long Beach and to Dallas, and we wanted to get to Seattle, which I was really looking forward to because I'd never been there before. And we've been very fortunate to have Terawat, Little Frog, travel with us last year.
Yes.
And she was great at helping promote Bokeh. And but COVID, of course, canceled all of those plans. So this is why we ended up having the online screener.
Okay.
And I realized at that point that this is also from discussing with Grandmaster about his situation, not having any more students because of COVID, that this online screener, which was supposed to be around Khmer New Year in April, would be a good chance to raise some money to help a lot of those Bokeh clubs which are struggling. So, but we will get back on the road at some point. What I really enjoy about that is meeting people directly. Doing this sort of thing online is, it's kind of cool, I guess. Yeah. But really engaging people personally
it's cool. It's new. Look, Mark មិញគាត់លើកពីចំណុច he raised the issue of perhaps some of the audience have asked if the film will be going on tour again. May I ask, will you be going on tour in the future with the film? Is this something that you're doing separately, or can we do it together soon, or in the future? Look,
well, that's a good question.
No.
already did everything a lot. But I lucky Tom, great, but lucky like Mark, they did with me, and so on. To get the people, our own country or outside the world, to understand, to pay attention, to attract the Bokeh is. I know how to do that, but I'm not able to do that because it. So that only two ways. One, I did already connect to the World Union, World Traditional Martial Art Union in Korea, so that the union of martial art in the world, their theme is I mean like membership of NGO and UNESCO. So that is the central of the traditional martial art in the world. The country have the martial art traditional that can apply to be member. And so that long time they get already long time, but I heard that is on 2009. So that we met the people in Korea. So that yes, I went to Korea and I brought the history of Bokator, the document, all document that what we get find down in Cambodia to bring them. And very lucky, 2007, we get the team from the human weapon, from Hollywood, from through history, something around the world is from an case, Japanese television. They come to Cambodia and introduce me. I mean, to know about Bokator, and they should, and they advertised this film to the television in the world. That's the first step what we did, and so that I applied to be a member of the World Martial Art Union in Chungju, South Korean, Chungju City. So that we are the member of the country is 33 that time. When Cambodia go in 34, until now more than 50, I think. Yes. And we usually go to, so they agree, and Bokator to be their membership, And after that, at 2010, long story. So that.
Look, like me, I have a lot of people with ideas on how to promote Khmer, preserve Khmer arts, protect Khmer arts. Every time I do something new, it costs money. So sometimes a lot of our Khmer people and non-Khmer people are like, they feel sometimes a little disappointed because they feel like I'm not supportive of their skills and their talent. But my point is sometimes I wish they would know that it's not because I'm not supportive, but when we do something new, there's a new fixed cost. There's new amount of money to be spent. អញ្ចឹងដូច Bokator ដូច surviving Bokator អញ្ចឹងលោកគ្រូខ្ញុំដូចមានអារម្មណ៍ថាជួនកាល if we focus on promoting something that we already have, it may save us money when we go and we promote something new. Maybe if we have a new cost, we mean new cost, you have to spend something, maybe another $1,000, $10,000, $20,000 to start something new. That's why I had presented you with a question of can we expect to see you going on tour with in the future with to promote surviving Bokator? Torot, who came to the United States and she did the tour. She did a fantastic job. Now I feel like there's something missing there. I feel like you have the student, you have the marvelous filmmaker, you have the perfect storyline, you have the Khmer story in alignment with the Bokator story, but we're missing the content. We have the poetry, we have the story, but we don't have the alphabet. I feel like we're missing the alphabet. We're missing the grandmaster.
It's good. It's good. It's real and the truth. That's what I told you. I'm so difficult time for me how to survive Bogota. Very, very, first thing to let our old people understand. And usually young generation, they don't know. But now I spend almost 20 years to let they know. Now if we go up to like 60%, they understand. That's what I told you right now. I still working for that. One thing we have to make to teach them free. So I teach free a lot. Okay. After make them good show, good fight, good, and we do the show demonstration everywhere in Cambodia, and we shoot interview from another television, another newspaper, something around the world already long time, many years, so that people start to understand a little bit. And important, I founded organization and academy, and we had to connect to the government. I mean the Ministry of Art of Sport. So that I already did. It's just right now. But before, we had to do something.
Look, you some context. Mark, maybe this question is best answered by both of you. The Grandmaster mentioned that he's done he's already built the groundwork in terms of educating the new generation of young Khmer about the lost martial art. So along with knowledge, along with education, how do we get the young people to feel proud, to feel like there's a Khmer word called loi. How do we make this cool? How do we make the young people feel proud to take what they know and what they understand and what they learn from you, Grandmaster? How do we make them feel proud enough to share with more? Grandmaster, can you? Yes, you first, please.
I know how to do that very well, but I difficult how to do that. One thing, the culture. It depends the uniform, attract by uniform, culture. Like, karate, taekwondo, they use their own uniform. But we have to use our own culture. So nothing and do something, or the Bogota culture uniform. One is attractive because it's so difficult, so different from another martial art. They are one thing. Another thing about the arc, because we are martial art, Bogota fighting with the arc, not the fighting, not the fighter. Fighting, real fight, but use the arc, so they like a dance. So that will attract one thing and show up the people. Our culture is arc, dance and fight. And so another thing, the demonstration go around the school, something like that. And after that, competition. So that we have competition every year during since 2006. And we do every year competition championship Bogota every year. So that made all the students, all the people live in province, village, they come to join. And now until now, all the school, and we talked with the government of ministry almost about 2 weeks ago, and I still meeting with them. They agree, and from the government to put the schedule of the Bogota sport to the schedule of Ministry of Sport and Youth.
Wow. Okay.
Belong to the government. But that is I talk already, they require all the school in Cambodia have to learn Bokeh. And I have to make the technique how to teach them every school in Cambodia. And they told me the number, maybe 3 million
Wow.
students.
Okay.
In Bokeh.
Yeah.
That's
Jung,
what
I think,
I discussed
but
already.
Mark, so Grandmaster's got a lot of things in motion. But from your non-Khmer perspective, Mark, how do we make this? How do we make Bokatao Loi? How can we make it Loi so that young people can share? You know, sort of like the Facebook share. If they feel like something is cool and they feel proud about it, or they feel passionate about it, then they will share. How can we get the young people to share this lost treasure, Mark?
Well, I think there's many ways that we can do it. Really, it's about a sense of ownership. People, I grew up in the '80s loving rock and roll music, and we all had our. It was a city. There was a lot of music, and we all had our favorite bands. Let's say, and you'd wear the T-shirt, and it was something to be proud about, and it was. And we'd learned instruments, and I'd like to sort of tie it into something like that. It's something that you have an ownership with, something that you can proudly display, something that you can, that is bigger than yourself, let's say. And what I've seen of Bokatao, when you connect Bokatao, first of all, marketing, when you connect it to Angkor Wat, and if you go to the temples and you can see on the walls that there's the technique there, which we show in the film. That, I think, when you connect that to culture, to the fact that that still exists now, or that's actually coming back.
Yes.
People are always looking for something to reinforce a sense of themselves, who they are. And I think if more and more, especially within your culture, if you can help your young people find, lead them, create the paths to allow them to sort of find these things to round off their personalities or their sense of identity. I think that's an important thing. It's really empowerment. You need to empower people with a sense of belonging. That's another part of it. I think Grandmaster's done a great job of that. He was. You see this in the film, but there's a lot of scenes that actually didn't make it into the film, unfortunately, but where he would rally people, students, new people coming through, his club, about pride and about it is in you to give. This is how he convinced the other masters to come out of hiding. This is part of you, was passed down to you from your father, from your grandfather, generation, and it is up to you to take that, to personalize it, and to then pass it on to your son, to your daughter. So I think that's to keep sort of that message and that approach to culture. I think is a good way. The other way, I think, is government and NGOs also need to step up to the plate a little bit more. And I'm happy to say one of the questions here for Grandmaster from Kanai Andrews is, does Bokatao still enjoy support from the government in 2020? Well, yeah, there's support in education now, the Ministry of Education, and I guess this would be a question for Grandmaster, but if I can, correct me if I'm wrong here, Grandmaster. The military is also in investing in training their people.
Wow.
Bokatao.
Wow.
The SIA Games recently, Bokatao fighters were competing there, and of course UNESCO is set to, in this year, the end of this year, to recognize Bokatao, to grant it intangible heritage status, cultural heritage status. So I think all of these things, it's just creating bright lights around Bokatao, and you just really have to, as I said before, create the footpaths, point people in the direction where they naturally would want to go anyways, and that's, there you go.
Yeah, Grandmaster, Mark mentioned maybe a little more NGO involvement, a little more government involvement. Who else should be helping us, Grandmaster? Who else do you see should be helping this film, this film, and also this the martial art itself?
I already did. And I show you. Okay. I forget to tell you, like Marky told us about the UNESCO. So the government make the team, special team group to application, to UNESCO. That 2010, I in the meeting. So 2010 and 2012. So that I the one take care of the history of Bokator and the technique to explain UNESCO. And the government and the Ministry of Sport and Art, everything be meeting. And that time, because the government, Hun Sen, Prime Minister say, urgent, fast, to make document to UNESCO. That's what we did. Start from 2010 and 2012, the government agree and put the Bokator to our heritage, our Cambodian heritage in our country, so that we already respect and the name of the Bokator to our culture, our heritage. After that, we put application to the UNESCO because we have to the tour squad. Yeah, that is our own, our real. So that we put application to UNESCO until 2015. And they come to interview me, the team of UNESCO. Reporter come to Siem Reap, come to Phnom Penh, a lot interview me many times, and we make the film 10 minutes for filming to show them our culture. And that blah 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 long time. It is long way to explain, but I just shortcut. Resume 2015 with 12. But 2016, they come back again to say, because the Korean martial art, the union, traditional of union martial art, they a lot support us because they are the member of UNESCO, so they know how to get there, and so that we get there already. And I just finished on 2019. It stopped, but we are inside already. So that I heard waiting for the UNESCO will be announced.
You Lucru
Bokator heritage.
Lucru, Grandmaster, there are a lot of arts that are recognized by UNESCO. A lot of arts, a lot of martial arts, a lot of different types of architect and designs and different forms of arts that are recognized by UNESCO, but nobody knows what they are.
I know
Nobody. So UNESCO is kind of like a big book of wonders of the world and wonderful arts, but nobody knows. So how do we pull Bokator out of UNESCO so that the world can know about Bokator?
It's not easy. It's not easy to put your martial art or your culture to UNESCO because the question is a lot. They require a lot. So that is the martial art copies from another country or from another people. It cannot go to UNESCO. And your country belong to your country, or your country you get from another one country, and you find just get the land and you live there and you say that your country is cannot go. Because UNESCO is a lot find out the true history of the country and the martial art.
Yeah.
Where belong to, what is the beginning and where from that martial art. And so for us, very quick to get that. Come on, bring to us, bring to UNESCO. And they keep and they ask a lot of questions and we put a reporter, everything is, too hard job.
Yeah.
I told you, 2019, UNESCO need from me. I don't say anything because still like people say you proud yourself. No, I don't proud. I work for my people. Yeah. I work for our culture. I never proud.
Yes.
Cambodia proud, not me.
Yeah.
I the one make Cambodia proud, not me. And you know what the question? The last close, before they close, application close, no more. Before that, they let the team, the people in the Ministry of Art come to me, but bring the question to me that they say UNESCO will want to know from you one word. You say the right word, the right thing, Bokator in UNESCO.
Yeah.
Have Bokator. If you not saying, say something wrong, no more Bokator in UNESCO. It belongs from you. You know what I'm saying? I do a lot of things, year and year. And I talk, explain, interview, I don't know, maybe 100,000 times for that. But the last question is one word. And I say, what can the word I got to say because I almost gone.
But you should be proud. I know you're very humble about the whole situation, but you should be proud because there are at least 16 million Khmer around the world, and maybe even up to 25 million fragmented around the world. But so you should be proud. But Mark, I wanted to ask you. You have UNESCO. They have a book of diamonds. I see UNESCO as a book of diamonds. How do we cash in those diamonds in UNESCO, Mark?
How do you mean a book of diamonds?
Martial art is kind of like a Bokator is a treasure, is a lost treasure of the Khmer people, and other wonders of the world are part of UNESCO recognition. So instead of becoming just another certification and recognition by UNESCO that eventually becomes forgotten by the mass public, how do we get Bokator that will be recognized by UNESCO to become something, again, going back to my question about 10 minutes ago, how do we get that out of the book and make it cool and make it lowy?
Yeah, so thank you, Tom. Okay, so very lucky of our culture, our country, because Uncle Wat. The one thing is Uncle Wat. The second thing, the true history of our king.
Yeah.
That one is Bokator. And you see that, you can see everything is like Mikey shoot something in scripture, of all the fighting, everything. That is the true history of our culture, one thing. And another thing, I went to Cambodia and I opened the school, teach them everything. It's a lot of time, we use many things. And after that, the people, tourism and tour group, everything, they come to train in Siem Reap or in Phnom Penh about the Bokator. So that a lot of martial art from Muay Thai, from karate, from everything, teacher, master, and USC, everything, they come to train Bokator. That's what I touched them. and explain them to understand very well about Bokhao, that they respect a lot.
If Kosol, if I could turn your question, sort of divert it back to Grandmaster.
Yes, please.
Maybe you've answered this in a way. I'm just there's been got a bit of a backlog of questions here from the audience. But one of them is the next. I think this kind of ties in nicely. But Grandmaster, what are the future plans for your future plans? It is for Bokator. What's next? You know, and I think maybe this Kosol is how we can connect.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Mark. Good question too. I'm planning for 5 years from now, because you have to see one thing. We already signed MOU with the army, so now Bokator in army agree. We put the Bokator technique in army, so that they start already maybe 1 year.
Can you hold that up a bit longer? That's great. Can you just hold that up a bit longer?
The crew look take the crew. Look how many crew? Some look a couple take the crew. Can you lift up a little bit higher? Can you lift up again?
Yeah, hold it up.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But open it up.
បើកសភៅតិចមើលលោកគ្រូក្នុងនឹងមានអីខ្លះ
មានច្រើនក្បាច់គុណបុកដោយើងមានច្រើននៅក្នុង
Wow. How many techniques in there again? Look,
I hope maybe 200 to 300 techniques.
Okay.
For the, not like we learn, not like we teach in the gym, in the school. We choose some kind of technique, good technique, you know, to the army, because army have to strong to protect our country like before. So that one thing, and another thing is to the school, and another thing is for the Cambodia will be SEA Games on 2003, and we are the host of the SEA Games. So that's what I'm planning already.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, that's it. I draw myself.
It's a superhero.
That inside.
Yes.
Captain Bokator.
That inside we have to teach another country to learn Bokator, come to SEA Games and competition with the Cambodia. So that I have to go around the world to teach and from this book. Okay, this is another thing, and also we have to make the movie. Not the.
They should make a documentary.
Sorry. Not we should make the history. So that I did one film already for festival. So that we call Still I Strive. So that one American guy, one Korean guy from Long Beach, American citizen, he support he helped them survive those group 1 year, $1 million.
Wow.
From America. That is their team. Their team come to make movie, and they don't know what to do. And they come to meet me, and I teach them and teach to shoot, and I teach them the young people. You know, young people. You see that they learn Bokator. We teach them 3 weeks.
But Master, Mark, Master, we actually went over our time, so we're at about 1 hour 15 minutes. I wonder for the next 15 minutes before we end, I want to just maybe go in line with what Grandmaster has already started. I like to talk about legacy. Look at legacy. Look at មរតករបស់លោកគ្រូមកឲ្យខ្ញុំមកឲ្យកូនចៅខ្មែរយើង your legacy to young people like me and young people like out there, young Khmer as well as non-Khmer? What is it that what's your legacy?
I have to make the book. Everything what we have, 10,000 technique for our own and to the world. So that I have to make the book, Bokator, Kun Bokator. This is a white Khmer, is a beginning. So that, I'm sorry, so that I drew myself and all the technique in there. So this book already print out 2016 until today. So that, like you say, the Cambodian people not like a wake up yet, you know.
Yes.
So that I already prepare for them. And
when's that next book coming out, Grandmaster? That's the White Khmer. When is the next one coming out?
Yeah, that I'm talking about the planning, everything, the technique. I get about more than 3,000 technique already in the book. So this is the new book for 3rd degree to 4th degree. I just finished this month.
But Master, Grandmaster, those are books about techniques and reflection of Bokator. But what about you? What do you want me to know about you? Okay. What do you want the young people to know about Grandmaster Sankam Sien?
Well, for myself, like I told you, I don't work for myself. I don't care myself. I care about our diamond. It's Bokator culture. That's what I care. Myself, they know me. It's okay. I'm 75 years old. I gonna be close the time to go back home. So that I never think I work for myself and really the money for survive. That's it. I cannot say I want to be millionaire by Bokator, but supporting from the people, I don't know. I need money, but not for myself. I need money to build up the Bokator for our people. That's what I make one story. Film.
That's a very noble, very humble dream. But as a young person reading those books, in one sentence, in one sentence, who is Grandmaster Sankam Sien?
Oh yeah, that's what I have my picture there.
One sentence.
Yeah, I have every book in my name and my picture and my background, something like this book. Yeah. See, if you want to know my background, it's already here. So that if they buy the book, they knew me. And also we make the movie, Bokator Spirit, like I told you. So that the movie is Bokator Spirit, and I already see Bokator Spirit.
Yes.
And we done waiting for the show in the theater of the Cambodia, and will be I following the way of Mark go around the world too. That is not document. Is that the story of Bokator?
But look, Master, like for example, for a Khmer American or a Khmer Canadian, Khmer outside of Cambodia, and also for non-Khmer that don't know you, that don't know Bokator and don't know you, why should I buy those books?
You look, I hope, and I guess they will know me when the UNESCO announced Bokator World Heritage. Everybody will know me already. Even I still alive, even I pass away. That grandmaster Sankam Sien, the father of Bokator, modern Bokator. So that we don't. I don't care my name right now. Like J.U.M. 7, we don't know him, but now we know the name. And we know the started.
But Mark, I know you're not J. Varaman the 7th, Mark. But what? Well, you look kind of like Jay Vanaman the seventh. More Jay Vanaman than me tonight. Mark,
where's your krama?
What's the legacy, Mark? What surviving Bokator? What's your dream? How do you want young people as Khmer and non-Khmer to receive surviving Bokator?
It's a good question. I think that depends on the individual. I don't, when I make a film, I hope people like the film, and I hope people sort of, but my bigger goal is for people to take away what they can. When you go to see a movie or just like a piece of music or anything like that, a piece of art, it's a different thing to different people. It is what you bring to it, right? So you can be sitting in a movie theater with a friend or a girlfriend or a wife and have a very different relationship to that film, and you'll come out and you'll be talking about it, and she may not like it, you may not like it, or the takeaway is different. What I've really enjoyed about this film is meeting the audience and is seeing people's reaction to it, and also discussing with them how it makes them feel and why. And I've had such a variety of responses, which has been amazing. But I think that the takeaway for me is that people get a different sense of Cambodia than the killing fields. Quite frankly, there's a lot of films out there about the killing fields. We still continue to make films about the killing fields. It's kind of low-hanging fruit. I mean, those stories need to be told, and they're told quite well. But it also creates an image of Cambodia in the collective, in the international consciousness. We think of Cambodia as the land of death, of not really of culture. You have the government slogan is the kingdom of wonder. Should be really the kingdom of culture. I think it's an incredible place, and not that I set out to make this film to promote Cambodia per se, but at least to sort of change how people see Cambodia. People see the real Cambodia, which is what you see in the film. The people, the landscapes. I try to catch as much as I could. There's only so much you can put into 97 minutes. But that's really what in terms of a legacy, I don't know. I mean, I'm just doing my part. It would be great to see some more films.
Yes.
Documentary films are very difficult to make. You never know when to end it. It's resource-wise, it requires it's unbelievable what you end up putting into it. But I think it would be great to see more stories that are a reflection of, as I say, the great things about Cambodia. And also for young people, as we discussed earlier, to see themselves in the characters in the film, and want to learn more and want to visit Cambodia.
Yes.
I know a lot of people have seen the film. They said that's on my bucket list. Cambodia, got to go there. Angkor Wat, but other places too, the provinces. So I hope I answered your question. Yeah. These are the kind of films I like to make. It's just to go out there to discover and to sort of change people's understanding, in order to allow people to come together a lot more. The problem I think that we have in society is that we have very fixed opinions about each other, and we end up isolating each other or isolating ourselves from each other. We silo ourselves. We surround ourselves with ideas and thoughts that echo what it is how we perceive the world already. And that's not healthy.
Yes.
So it'd be great to see more films out there that just really show a different side of a nation that we have a very certain opinion about. Let's say North Korea. Maybe there's a story inside of North Korea which is very different.
Yes, the untold story. Yeah.
So,
Mark, just from as an outsider, and today is my first day to have met and spoken with Grandmaster himself. I do want to thank you and Sandra. The to be recognized and to be persevered as a culture, as a people with Bokatao. I mean, you know, I can't thank you guys enough as an individual, and as I had expressed to Grandmaster, I don't know if I can say thank you enough times to compensate or to reciprocate the efforts to make this happen. You know, and you know, just from the questions I've had the opportunity to ask tonight, you know, I'm very heavy and deep into taking something that has value and showing it to the world. You know, that's why I keep going back to, okay, it's in UNESCO, it's recognized, it belongs to Khmer, but how do we get, because Khmer, there's only 15 to 25 million Khmer around the world, but there are 7.5 billion world citizens. So we look at 25 million compared to 7.5 billion, that's a drop in the bucket. So how, you know, I'm just so touched by both of you, Grandmaster, you know, to persevere all these years throughout the war, throughout the reconstruction of Cambodia, throughout the development phase, the ups and downs, and you still stuck with it. You came to America and still not happy enough because you're not able to give back enough to Cambodia to return. And then you met these two non-Khmer, Mark and Sandra, who have never been to Cambodia and have never exposed to martial art and let alone Bokatao, and to give as much as they have given. Thank you to both of you. In terms of my questioning, I'm exhausted, but I want Grandmaster and Mark, if you have any last minutes expressions or something to share about the future of Bokatao and the future of surviving Bokatao, please do. But my curiosity has been sort of been fulfilled. I'm hoping that you can sort of maybe on a free will basis share about how do you see Bokatao in the future, and what can we do? What can the Khmer people and non-Khmer people do outside of Cambodia to contribute to achieving that goal? But Lukru, please first, and then Mark.
Okay, that's what I told you about our planning, and I already did. Well, like you say, like you want to know, waiting for one thing. Okay, Mark and us, we know each other a long time, and we work together. And thank you for everything to Mark and family and his team. And I hope Mark might be here with some ideas, something, because I have too much thing about the way how to promote the Bogota, but he focused one thing, and with the film or the story, something, I don't know, but I hope we're gonna enjoy together someday, sometime again. But back to me, waiting was one more word and one more time in this year, World Bokatao Heritage, that the people around the world will know of our culture, one thing. Another thing, they will enjoy, study, and we want to open the school, Bokatao gym around the world, and the academy will product and teach the people come around the world to learning to be instructor of Bokatao, and I will give them the certificate instructor and black krama of the Bokatao around the world, because the world is our family Bokatao. That's what we call the world Bokatao family. So that we open worldwide for the Bokatao go around the world. So that I just very concerned and very upset for my life. We're very old. So that I want to see in the future very quick not too long because I want to see too. And I work myself for the culture. I work for the people around the world, and I want to see what's going on. I do good job or bad job. I want to see before I pass away. I very good, and I pass away with smiling because I do the job for the people, for the country, for the culture, and for the people around the world. And we just say, not only Bogota.
Look, Ru,
I mean,
in the Bokeh Federation and some of the other Bokeh names, leaders, are how are those? How are they able to support you now? How is your relationship with some of the other Bokeh leaders in Cambodia
uh,
now?
Bogota only one.
Mhm.
It's me
Mhm.
because I'm the surviving, and I do a lot of things, in academy because federation and academy work together
Yeah.
to teach, to give the teacher in the country and outside the world, outside the country, so that we just want it, and we have the rule, the regulation, and I mean the rule and the respect, discipline, everything is the one, just one, so that Bogota only one. One is Bogota, but you can open 100,000 gym and you can put the name, but just say Bogota. Bogota belong to someone. Bogota, like you say, Bogota, Kampung Chinang, Bogota, Prewe, Swadian, whatever, million name of the Bogota school because you want to make Bogota, open the school that belong to your name. You can say Bogota, blah, 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 blah. But one word is Bogota. Cambodia we say La Bogota. That's it. And that we go one family, but different brand, but one family. Like you said, Toyota, Toyota Camry, Toyota Corolla, blah, blah, blah. But from Japan, from one factory is Toyota. That's what we call Bogota Wall family.
But chú Lực Ru,
You
chú
have,
how about Bokeh San Kam Sien?
I don't have
What is
Bogota.
special about Bokeh San Kam Sien, Lực Ru?
Okay, whatever the people make mistake a lot. That's what you say. I cannot say Bogota San Kamsian. Bogota he not belong to me. Belong to our culture, our king, our great grandfather. And those they don't say Bogota J Roman 7. No, we just say one word is Bogota. That time. So we just say Bogota Academy, Cambodia Academy, or Bogota what say. And next time we say Bogota United States, not Bogota San Kitchen, not Bogota Mark, not Bogota you. Is you not is the Bogota. It belongs to you. No, Bogota belong to everybody. Don't put
Mark,
your name.
thank you again for everything you've done to kind of to uncover or to for the world to rediscover Bokeh. What's do you have any final words for us, Mark, about surviving Bokeh and also Bokeh as a martial art?
I think Bokeh is a martial art. Again, it's great seeing more and more young Khmer learn about this part of their heritage through the film. That's been quite, feel good for Sandra and I. But I think what's it's the journey's just begun, really. It took us a while to get the film finally made, and now that it's been out there, and it hasn't even hit the broadcast market yet, and so we're looking forward to sort of seeing what happens in Japan, in Korea, in China, in Europe, There's been a lot of, in Australia, can't forget Australia, there's been a lot of requests to have the film there. So it's kind of like a wave, you know, it's something that I'm very proud to be a part of. Grandmaster, you know, through luck or chance or what have you, we met back in April of 2010. I never intended this journey to be what it's been. For me, it's been one of the greatest journeys of my life. Meeting the grandmaster and the people around him, and just kind of, sometimes you're on a ride, you just have to go where that ride is meant to take you. The more you ask questions, the harder it gets. It's best sometimes just to buckle up and you know, to go with it. And this is sort of what's been happening.
Mark, you know, film, like I know when you were in the United States last, we had the Festival of Nations. Lord,
in Minneapolis.
In 4 days, we had tens of thousands.
Did they burn that building down yet?
No, that building is going to be here.
Kosol's in Minneapolis. This is why I'm making the joke. If you've been following the news.
that building is a landmark, and I think there's an invisible fortress around it. When you were here, Mark, tens of thousands of people became exposed to Bokeh. So in 4 days, Bokeh became featured on national TV, local TV, Fox TV, and we had a couple different newspapers, articles. I mean, I felt so proud because it's one thing for me to say, Kosol, you're a good guy. Kosol, you're a hard worker. Kosol, but to be able to see from an outside lens, to be able to see that here we have Mark, the film production company, you see Sandra, people who are not Khmer, to come and embrace the martial art. Look,
I just wish it was mine.
Yeah,
I wish it was part of my culture.
Yeah, and it's part of your culture, and you and you've made many other people proud, which is something that it's such an investment, a return on investment. And I hope I mean, I can only hope that I can share this with Grandmaster one day, to be able to see, to be able to see thousands of people come through and say, wow, I did not know this was Khmer. I did not know that this belonged in Cambodia or came out of Cambodia, because I keep thinking about skeletons and wars and people fighting. I never knew that there's something this great and this powerful that could come out of Cambodia. And that's what I think, that's what really touched me and fired me up when we met with Bokeh. So that's my ranting, my excitement for you tonight, Mark, is that I've been so blessed to have met you and Sandra and Tarot, and now Grandmaster and the whole cast. Anything else to add, if I may ask, Mark? Grandmaster, do you have anything else to add before we end our event for this evening?
Yes.
We've had some questions about DVDs. Not to plug the film, but just as an answer for that, we were hoping to get some out this year. We'll maybe towards the end of the year, we'll try for that. It depends really on COVID and what's happening, and also our distribution partners, how they want to do things. But and also getting the film out to some of those other countries we talked about. The online screening and fundraiser we did only in the USA and for Brief Point in Canada as well. But we are looking forward very much to going through the rest of the world and meeting more and more people. I'm very proud, Kosol, to be considered part of your family, your greater family. It's again, as I was saying to you before, this journey, I had no idea, Sandra and I had no idea it would be kind of like this. And everywhere we go, it's just such a warm reception. And really, we're just filmmakers, you know, who are just telling a story. It's not my story. It's Grandmaster's story. It's Tarwat's story. It's Darit's story. It's everyone who was featured in the film, but it's Cambodia's story. I'm just I just the guy with the camera, and that's kind of how I see my role. So it's really up to other people, hopefully other Khmers, to pick up and to keep moving forward, and yeah, that's be proud of your culture. You got an amazing culture. I'm sort of jealous. I wish I had such a vibrant culture. But yeah, and just run with it. Don't ever lose it.
Thank you very much លោកគ្រូលោកគ្រូមានអីបន្ថែមទៀតទេលោកគ្រូមុនយើងបញ្ចប់កម្មវិធីយើងនេះ
បាទមានយើងមុនបាយគ្នា
បាទ
អ្នកក្រៅគេស្ដាប់ភាសាអង់គ្លេសច្រើនណាបាទអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំនិយាយលេងទៅចុះ
បាទ
Okay, before we finish the schedule, so from my heart, I'm surviving Bokator. I'm the founder, and I'm the founder of modern Bokator in Cambodia. I hope in the world in the future. So, just say, first, we are the Cambodian blood. We are the Cambodian family. We don't know each other, but the brand name is Cambodia, Khmer. So we are Khmer. I hope we have a heart spirit for our culture. Even you born in United States, I have my own family, almost more than 20 people. I left my family in Long Beach, California, when my kid, they were 6 years, 10 years old. Now they are 36, 45, 50 years old. They have family. I never met them. I left them. I'm very bad father, grandfather, because I know I do wrong for my family, but I have to do that. Sorry, because Bokator, not only one. Bokator is our culture from thousand years, cannot be lost, no get lost anymore. So I know that I have experience. I do that from I was young in my life for that. So even I fly to United States, I live with a good life. My family, my son, my daughter, they have a donut shop, something. But for me, it's not my dream. It's not my dream to live with that, good life like that. My dream is Bokator. I have to survive Bokator, a life for Cambodia, for Khmer, and for the world. So if I stay like that, just eating, you retire, just coffee, drink, happy, and party, barbecue, and after you die. The people have to die when you get old. So you die
leave
for
something
what?
behind, I guess is what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, leave something behind. If you're you're born, we all serve a purpose. Either that purpose can be unto ourselves, or we can do something which, you were asking before, Kosol, about legacy.
Yes.
And I think Grandmaster, although you didn't answer the question directly, you very much got to the point, which is,
Okay.
leave a footprint, and be an agent of change.
Yeah. So that thank you. And so that was my
the
dream.
Cambodian in him. It must be the Khmer in him. Mark, to be humble. He's so humble with his response. I have to kind of poke him a few times.
I saw that. You used a very big stick too.
That's my last word. I say, please, we go together to survive Bokator. We go together to work for our culture from our great king, great grandfather of the Bokator spirit. So that, please, take hand. And I want everyone Khmer everywhere in the world for Khmer living. Just one thing, please give your heart with the culture. The culture, Bokator, or whatever I'm talking about Bokator, our culture. So let the culture, the name of Bokator, our people, to your heart every time. So that's what I want. In the heart, million heart for culture, I hope the Bokator will be success in the world in the future. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, Mark, I can't add any more value. This is the fantastic conversation.
You did well,
Thank you very
Kosol.
much. Thank you very much. Some chirip sua. Some chirip lia. But and
Mark, he know very well.
okay, Mark, good luck. Thank you very much. With surviving Bokator លោកគ្រូចាំយើងជជែកគ្នាទៀតតើមានកន្លែងណាយើងអាចជួយគ្នាទៅមុខទៀតលោកគ្រូអរគុណច្រើនពី surviving Bokator ហើយនឹង IKARE ទាំងអស់គ្នាបាទ Good night
អរគុណច្រើន
Okay គាត់ជួបបងទាំងអស់គ្នាសូមបាយបាទ